Today I want to share with you the things that I find least enjoyable in software development, and I want to stress this out. This is not something I hate. It's something that I prefer to happen differently, or the expectation to be different. These items that I'm going to share today are not in any particular order. They are as they come to mind. And one thing that I want to tell you that at the end, I want to give a few recommendations how to handle those scenarios and make them more enjoyable than they are actually. Let's say that. And we will start with the myth of multitasking. Studies had shown that human mind can only multitask, truly multitask, in scenarios where the task on hand it's highly automated. Things such as walking or running. But when it comes to tasks that require concentration, high attention, in those cases, there's no such a thing as multitasking. There is the task switching, which is the process of your mind flipping to and from different demands. To bring this idea home more, I'll tell you about a study that I recently read. Is a study that was done at a university where students were assigned to read a textbook. They were allowed to use texting, IM, Instagram, Facebook, whatever is their choice, or watch TV. And another group just used the textbook, nothing else. And it was discovered that those people, or those students who were texting while they were reading the textbook, it took them 25% more time to finish with the assignment. And that time, it does not include the time they spent texting. And the reason is that it takes you more time to do these two tasks, which seemingly they seem really easy to do. It takes you more time to go back to a task that you put on pause, because you have to spend energy and time to remember where you left it off. And this is a reality in software engineering. Unfortunately, multiple times we have to do task switching.
And watch me multitask.
The next one is that we have limited capacity. Unlike computers, human bodies or human organisms were not designed to run high speed during long period of times. Rather, we were designed to run rhythmically with periods of high speed or normal speed and periods of recovery. And that's just a cycle. And just an example, even computers need to be restarted once in a while. So do human bodies. You have to take time to recover. And where this comes to software engineering, there are so many projects, so many things, new technologies coming up. You want to learn this thing, you want to keep up, you always want to be ahead of the game. And in reality, you think, okay, I will sacrifice my sleep, I'll sleep 1 hour every day less. That's not a good decision, because the less sleep you have, the more disfavor you're doing, you will be less functional. An example will be, it was proven that a person could go without food for a week, and the only thing that will happen to them is they will lose weight. If a person goes without sleep for a couple of days, they might be completely dysfunctional. Let me bring this other example. Imagine that your body is like a bank account, and imagine that you're just withdrawing funds without putting them back. I don't know how big your account is, but it might run out in a week, or it might run out in a month, a year. The time doesn't matter, but the fact is that it will run out of resources and you might get bankrupt. And the equivalent in the human body will be you will get burned out. And when you get into burned out situation, you will transform from a person who was highly motivated, highly performant, person who cared, who was able to do different things, to a person who is not motivated anymore, could not focus, could not deliver what was promised, to a person who actually doesn't care what happens. And I'm sure you don't want to do that. So the recommendation there is to actually take time off. Don't be on a running mill or treadmill all the time. You got one project, you delivered it, and you picked up the one right next hour without having even a break. The next thing that I find least enjoyable in software engineering is the lack of the vague requirements. And I believe a lot of software developers will agree with this, because it's really tough to do your job and do a really good job or a decent job without knowing exactly what are the requirements. An analogy of this would be, imagine yourself being on a boat in an ocean without having clear coordinates, without having a compass to use. You might end up in Australia, you might end up in Africa, or you might end up discovering a new continent. Who knows? I don't know. But the thing is that it's impossible or nearly impossible to guess what is needed, and it's not the best use of time and resources to guess what is needed. The next one is the productivity paradox. And what is in that case is that you might be assigned to a project that might be a week, let's say, just for an example, something that task will take you a week to do. And at the same time, you might get requirements to join different meetings, design sessions, or other meetings, or weekly development meeting, or whatever other admin stuff that you have to do day by day. So in reality there, unfortunately, from what I noticed, that there are no tasks, or there's not a good balance between what it's assigned to you and other tasks that you have to do. It's somehow they're misaligned, and you get emails, you get IMs, there are different conversations. So in reality, it's a productivity paradox where you actually are assigned to do something, but at the same time you are distracted with different meetings that you have to go to. Maybe not necessarily you are required to go there. So we got to a point where I will be sharing a few recommendations how to make these things that I shared more enjoyable or more bearable. In some cases, they are pressing on your day, on your progress. So first thing and the most thing is that whatever your task, whatever you have to do, the recommendation is to have focus blocks. And to have that is like you have a task. It might be a 1 hour task, a 2 hour task. If the project might be a small project of, let's say, a day or less, or a project that is a week, a month, or a year, and you have other things that you're working on, other responsibilities, you have to make time for all of them. So the recommendation there is to have focus blocks. So let's say you know that the next day you have 8 hours, and let's do 2 hours for task A, 2 hours for task B. Then you put this on your calendar. The reason you put this on a calendar, there won't be any unexpected meetings that are coming in your last moment, and you'll be able to focus on your task without IMs, without emails and so on, and you won't be emotionally and psychologically feeling pressure that you have to answer, you have to do that right away. You are scheduled to do this task. You put everything else on hold until you finish with the task that you're focusing right now. And the recommendation is to turn off your phone, different information, text, and so on, if that's possible. Turn off your email, and once you're done with your task, the next task maybe you add, let's say, 30 minutes in between the 2 hour task that you had, maybe a 15-30 minutes to check your emails. Another recommendation is actually to have, it's inevitable, I cannot pronounce the word correctly, so I apologize, is that you cannot get around this. It will happen no matter what, that you will have to put one task on hold and go to the next thing. because some projects are really big and you cannot do them in one day. So the recommendation is to bring your project, your task on hand, to a good stopping point and clear your mind of any questions or anything you have from the task on hand. That if you don't do that, you'll experience something that is called the hangover effect. Like you'll try to work on something, but you'll still thinking of the previous task, which is not really good. So try to put everything on a good stopping point and maybe take a 5-minute breathing break, glass of water or something like that, and then start on the next task. And the last tip would be to actually organize your email. We have, or at least I had multiple times when I get emails like that is sent to 10 different people and only one person has to answer it or take actions. And the reality, a lot of people just kind of had to stop what they were doing immediately to address that email. So that what could have been done, it's something that could be done later, right? Don't stop right now. So a recommendation is to organize your email, and the organized email, like maybe you add labels for different things, different projects. In my case, I actually have 4 different folders for my inbox. One is something that comes directly to me. The second one is where I am CC'd. The third one is where it's coming outside of my organization, which is not our domain. And the fourth one is meetings. So, and I go them in that order, something that is directly addressed to me, and I'll walk down the list. Those are the stuff that I wanted to share. So please make sure that you're taking care of you. If you find this video valuable, something that is useful, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't subscribe, please consider to subscribe, and see you next time. Next video, I'm planning to talk about books that I would like to recommend to software developers to read. So as always, I wish you a great software engineering experience and talk to you next time. Bye bye. Thank you for watching.